Daily Diamond Dash, the second week of the Major League Baseball season now underway, although we've only played 3 or 4 games for teams around Major League Baseball. Some have played 6, like the Dodgers. The Padres are up there as well. But we get into the second full week here of this Major League Baseball season. So we go around the Daily Diamond Dash here on this Monday. We head to the Trop up first, where the reigning World Series champs will face off against the Rays tonight. Tampa booked as a -122 home money line favorite, over-under 8.5, and the under has the juice.
Yeah, and again, we're taking a look early in the Major League Baseball season. If we're taking a game at the Trop, it's usually a tough place to hit home runs, tough place to score runs, because that usually indicates that Tampa's got a pretty good frontline pitching staff and bullpen, and also just the environment here. The ball doesn't travel all that well. But as we set up here, let's take a look if it is Dane Dunning on the mound today. He's been decent last year. And again, they're the only real statistics that we can go off of. He's a right-handed pitcher, right, very good against right-handed batters. But against lefties, struggled a little bit. But even if we take that out of the equation, you're going to get some left-handed batters in the lineup anticipated today for Tampa. It looks like it's going to be Lau, Palacios, and Rortvedt. How about that for the catcher? But only 3. You'd like to see a little bit more. Beautiful. But the reason I bring that up is, as a lineup here, 9 eligible batters, 7 of them last year alone on statistics going up against right-handed pitching, all above average with weighted on base percentages. Diaz, 389, Lau at 353, Rosarania, 350, Ramirez, 326, Palacios, 320, Paredes, 378. So you got some hitters in that lineup. So if we flip it over to the opposite side, and again, Ryan Pepiot on the mound, don't have too many statistics to go off of. I'm not really big on what did he do out of spring training. But last year, this right-handed pitcher also struggled with right-handed batters. And if we take a look at the lineup here for the Texas Rangers, look at those superstars at the top of the lineup based on last year's numbers against right-handed pitching. Yeah. 349 for Simeon, 450 for Seager, 468 for Carter, 372 for Adolis Garcia. We're probably getting runs here. So instead of taking a side, I look at the 8, and it is in the Trop. I get that. I'll go over the total in this one.
Right. At 8.5, that number right now, maybe working its way down to the 8. Rising. The under does what? Yeah.
No, I said rising. I was just looking at the graphic there. I think it said 8. So there you go. Rising.
Oh, rising. There you go. Donnie right side ahead of that line. Crazy. Texas, by the way, was beat yesterday in their opening series finale against the Cubs at home in Arlington. Chicago getting its first win of the year, 9-5, to avoid the sweep. Tampa and Toronto in the Trop in their first 4-game set of the year did split 2 games apiece. Of course, the Yankees, the statement in the opening weekend, a 4-game sweep over the Houston Astros. They now go from H-Town to the home of the defending National League pennant winners out in the desert against Arizona. The D-backs started their year with the Colorado Rockies. The Rocks expected to be one of the worst teams in the National League. Arizona wins 3 of those 4 games for a series victory. But can the Yankees keep it rolling? Can the Yankees continue to find their groove out in Phoenix? Now they're booked as a road money line favorite. I might take the D-backs plus money at Chase Field to end this 4-game win streak for the Yankees to start this year.
The humidor better be cranked up there on the West Coast for the simple magic is you're taking a look at this game overall and saying to yourself, who are we going to get on the mound and how dominant can they be? Because it doesn't look like they're going to be that dominant at all. Heels on the mound, the right-handed pitcher for the Yankees. I'm not even showing any statistics from last year, but if we're just taking a look at right-handed pitching going up against that lineup for the Diamondbacks, they hammered it all last year, which includes the top 2 guys in that lineup, Marte and Carroll, 397 weighted on base percentage and 366 combined. But if we flip it over to the New York Yankees going up against Ryan Nelson, he didn't get anybody out last year at all. Left-handed batters, a 237 ISO and a 380 weighted on base percentage. Right-handed batters, a 220 ISO and a 347 weighted on base percentage, right in the middle of that lineup. Now, granted, Judge hasn't started out all that hot, and maybe this is a chance for him to get back. But if we're looking just based on last year's statistics rolling into this year, Soto's got a 416 weighted on base average against right-handed pitching. Judge at a 427. Those 2 guys should be able to do damage. So if we're looking for RBI possibilities in Major League Baseball, might come out of the desert tonight. Is that 10? They'll probably press it. That's good numbers for both of these lineups here. Let's see if they get after it.
Donnie, when we were doing Major League Baseball breakdowns on Thursday's opening day, even into Friday, it was names you would know at the top of these starting staffs. Now we're a little bit deeper in 4 or 5 games into this year. So we're getting some of those pitchers where the evaluation, at least at this moment, and the sample size, not all that deep, either year over year, obviously not here in 2024. The California rivalry in Los Angeles, the Dodgers and the Giants tonight. LA now 4-2. They split the Seoul series in South Korea. They take 3 of 4 against the St. Louis Cardinals over the weekend at the Ravine. They stay in Los Angeles. They're greater than a $2 favorite, minus 205 against the San Francisco Giants. Over-under stands at 8.5.
Yeah, and again, this is tough because you take a look at the Dodgers. Nobody really wants to bet against them yesterday and should have got lost. I believe they were down 4-0, ended up winning 5-4. That's the power of that team going up against any bullpen. But if we're just trying to break it down to its simplest terms, Keaton Winn on the mound does have some decent statistics from last year, but only faced a total of 173 batters. But if we just look at the Dodgers lineup, and if we include the early parts of the season and last year together, and just look at the weighted on base percentage against right-handed pitching, it's almost not even fair. Let's go up against the anticipated starting lineup for the Dodgers based on those numbers from last year. Weighted on base percentage, and I use this term, 320 or so or higher is above the Major League Baseball average. Well, if we look at the Dodgers tonight, Betts 403, Ohtani 468, Freeman 404, Smith 354, Muncy 373, a low point of Teoscar Hernandez at 316. Then it jumps back up, Outman 362, and Hayward 349. So every single player in the lineup is a positive against right-handed pitching. That's going to be hard to defeat here. Now, granted, as we already talked about, you're not going to go undefeated for the Dodgers. They've already had a couple losses on the season. But this is one of those I'd look at. I'd probably just be taking a team total on the Dodgers and or RBI props to sort of boost it because I don't want to lay over $2 early in the season in this game. And again, cooler temperatures out there in LA, but that lineup still should rake tonight.
Yeah, Teoscar Hernandez, by the way, in his Dodgers debut throughout these first few games, 2 of 4 yesterday, 2 RBIs, including a solo shot in the bottom of the 8th that cut it to a 1-run deficit. And then Max Muncy, who came into the game, did not start, hit a 2-run shot later that inning, a 420-foot bomb to give the Dodgers the win and the series victory over the Redbirds. Mookie Betts was 0 of 4 yesterday, DRS, and is still batting 500 in the first 6 games of this year. You could look at total bases. You could look at RBI numbers for that elite Dodgers offensive lineup. Now, the White Sox did get swept by the Tigers to start off this year. Chicago is not going to be a very good team throughout this season. But I will say this. Despite being swept, the White Sox lost every game by only a single run and were perfect covering the number on the run line. Well, the Braves enter the South Side today. Atlanta in this matchup, a very hefty favorite against Chicago. Some day baseball on this Monday, minus 270. Charlie Morton on the bump for the Atlanta Braves. That run line minus 1.5, minus 162 if you want to bet it for the Braves.
I mean, the Braves should roll today, but also you're taking a look at a game where they played yesterday in Philadelphia, flying into Detroit, and you're also going to get 48 degrees with rain in the forecast and a wind blowing in from right field at 14 miles an hour. Still should be able to win. So let's just say we take the rain out of the equation and they do play this ball game. Flexen's on the mound here for the White Sox, and you take a look at him last year, didn't get very many batters out, which is a tough sign going up against this red-hot lineup, even right out of the gate for the Atlanta Braves. If we're including, again, last year's statistics, which followed up with this year, is going to give you at least 400 to 600 at-bats between the players. If we look at a number of the ISO power number, Ben, what that measures is what type of damage you're doing at the plate here. So if you're looking at an ISO power number Major League Baseball, you want to have that around like 0.17 or over. That's very good. Only one guy in the lineup is below 157 today, and that's Orlando Arcia, who actually had a very good weekend in Philadelphia. So go figure that one out. ISO power numbers for the first 6 guys in the lineup today, 259, 230, 233, 346, 260, and 187. As I said, 0.170 is the average. So those guys should be able to mash right out of the gate. But once again, we're not playing in the midsummer where it's 82 degrees with the wind blowing out. Chilly conditions, rainy forecast, team on a plane, back-to-back games. We'll see how that one plays out today for the Braves.